Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Salutation, cherished Chuddle Club members, and welcome to a very special edition of Chuddle the Pod here tonight.
Ooh.
A horror movie club. Thanks for joining me, Ross.
Oh, hey.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. As you can tell if you read the description and have not heard his voice, Sam is absent here tonight.
He's absent, yes.
Patrons know that he had a... He is out celebrating at the moment, so it's a good thing what he's doing now, but he has been a very busy boy as of late. So things have been rearranged and rescheduled and reshuffled over here at Chuddle HQ.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we have our special episode.
We were going to do, I guess we were going to do The Exorcist, but we didn't want to do something with The Exorcist, so we didn't want to do it like rushed. So we figured with everything through, this was a good, fun hang alternative. So
yeah. We'll get into all the reasonings behind that and everything. First and foremost, I mean, there are going to be what we're getting into tonight. We got a list of our top 5-ish, movies that we like to recommend, first to get you into the Halloween mood and spooky season. So there might be some spoilers. We'll let you know when those spoilers drop, of course, as always.
Absolutely.
And
well, here's a quick spoiler. Funny enough, all of my picks aren't all anthologies. You would think that all of it. There's only 2 in my list that are anthology movies. Everything else is an actual full-length feature film.
Perfect. And we'll get into those shortly coming up. And we do have a list that Sam presented as well. So speaking of these lists, a place that you can give us your list over on our Discord. Jump into there, come hang out with us. That is open up to everyone, all the club members, because that's you, the listener of the podcast. Jump on in, hang out with us, and have a good time. And if you want to take it even a little bit further, you can join our Coven of Witches. That's right. That's our Patreon. We love them so much. We thank them for their sacrifice and their beautiful souls because it gives us so much life.
Mana, give us your life, mana. Thanks,
we
guys.
need it.
We do really need it.
It's the one thing that gets us going by.
Yeah, it's not coffee anymore. It's literally life mana.
Yep. Otherwise, I don't know where this place would be. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all.
No pressure at all. 369, we got 3 different tiers for you all that gets you all some really good content. So jump over to listen to 1 billion plus episodes. Now, with all that said,
so many,
and all members present accounted for, let's go ahead and begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh yeah.
Grab a handkerchief.
Oh, you got to do that. So, as we said, we're doing things a little bit different tonight. This is our I said Ross and Bryan. I forget what I called it. I called it something stupid in the Discord.
So, Ross and Bryan Spooktacular.
Ross and Bryan's Halloween party. It's too long that I can't even read it from how much I wrote.
Perfect.
We'll call it Ross and Bryan's Halloween Party Extravaganza 2024.
There we go. Absolutely. And we'll just have, can we get background music of just organs playing or something like that?
What kind of
no,
really intense
subtle,
organs?
Subtle.
Okay.
We're in Castle Dracula and we're kind of omious.
Okay. We'll see what we can get something back there while we're hanging out.
There's going to be circus music, isn't there?
No, God, no. That'd be terrible. I wouldn't.
Sorry.
That shit.
Yeah.
Get over here. All right. So we're doing a couple things tonight. So one of the things, as I mentioned, we're going over our list of stuff. We're also going to be talking about something that I'm experiencing in person. We're grabbing a couple of the movies as well. And Ross is going to experience via me through screeners as well. Is the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival currently going on in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, New York, October 17th through 24th of this year. And this is the 9th year of it. So the first year that I am doing anything with it. So
really exciting, exciting stuff. Because I mean, we'll get into it, but they had the inaugural night and stuff like that. You just went
opening night. I just went to opening night, so we're going to talk a little bit that and the opening night film and some films that. Well, the films I'm definitely going to, stuff that's on the schedule that I'm just excited for and hope to be able to check out at some point, and what we're gonna kind of do with it on the other side of it as well. So I think tonight, let's just go ahead and we'll start off with our lists. I mean, that's a good place, a fun zone to get into. Now, as I said, this is our what are we getting in the mood to. What? Yeah, we're Halloweeny.
Yeah, it's like kind of, I think sometimes you got to like prime the engine. I mean, a lot of us are in Halloween mode three, all year, 365 days a year. Mm-hmm. But like when October hits or the end of September, I don't know. For me personally, I have like a list of movies that will get cycled through that month. I mean, obviously, we're going to be watching new stuff. We're going to be watching super classics. But I curated 5 of my own that I feel like I consistently watch every Halloween season. You know what I mean? Like it's just like they're kind of constants there. This is besides the list. Do you have any Halloween rituals that you do for Halloween? Is there certain decorations? Do you do pumpkins? Anything like that? Nothing.
No, I'm very boring over here. No, I don't have. See, and coming up with this list, if I'm going to be completely honest, was just like, I don't know, which movies do I like? I'm not a big yearly holiday ritual guy with any holiday.
Oh yeah. Honest. Yeah, no, I get I respect that.
If it happens, it happens. And I'm like, cool, that's great. Some years I'll put up like.
See, Bryan,
really don't.
You balance me because I go way over the top for Halloween. So between the two of us, it's like the average human being. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm like, just what else am I going to put out that's, spookier than what we got? But no, I mean, it's just never been a big thing. I watch horror movies and I'm like, oh yeah, that'll get me into the mood. And these are certainly ones that I like around the time and it'll be fun to discuss and everything too. And Sam has his list as well, so we're going to be able to pull from that.
Nice.
What is your big traditional thing that you do?
We do, now that I've got little ones, we kind of do the pumpkin carving and stuff like that. But even before we did, it was probably like a few days before Halloween, we would carve pumpkins and then we would roast all of the pumpkin seeds in different flavors and then have like little flavor stations of each, fantastic.
I mean, that's what I used to do when I was young. I mean, my parents are certainly one for tradition. So,
100%.
That's probably why I'm so anti-tradition at this point. But yeah, I'll do it every now and then. I think I didn't do anything last year. Maybe this will get me in the mood to like randomly pick up a pumpkin or something like that. But
I also have like 5 boxes of Halloween decorations in the house. So the entire interior and exterior gets just filled. We have a graveyard. What's kind of nice, actually, it's a tradition that started with my wife, is that when we first started dating, we got carvable pumpkins, like the foam ones. And so we have remarkably successfully kept almost every single pumpkin that we've carved since we've met each other. So like that, we have them out in the yard and stuff like that. So it's fun to have, like, my carving skills were god awful when we started, and now like I feel like I'm a seasoned carvable like foam pumpkin, not 3D stuff. I'm not doing portraits of, Reagan from Exorcist on them, but
not yet. I mean, you'll see the progression down the line.
That's a good point. Not yet.
Exactly. And I think it partly is I don't have storage for any shit, and I don't want to start accumulating shit that I'm gonna have to like, where am I gonna keep storing this? And like, I don't have like a yard to display stuff. Well, like, also, that's mine.
You already have a very awesome eclectic house in the fact that like it's already got that shade of spooky. You know what I mean? Like, what else are you gonna? I like the fact that it's kind of just out in the open like that. Year round.
Yeah. Yours is like that too, so I like to see it even spookier, and that's fun.
Most Octobers my house kind of looks like was the Museum of Monsters and Madmen for House of a Thousand Corpses. So it's just a lot of that's pretty much I actually dress like Captain Spaulding, just Donald ducking at the end.
I love it. That's why I go stay there. All right, let's get into these lists. Sam has number 5 for him. Let's say his is Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
wait, hold on. Spoiler zone. I said we would let them know when they're going to drop it. I just remembered in case anything pops up. I don't think we're going to spoil too much about these things, but naturally, like, this one is going to come up.
Oh, totally.
This one is when was the first time? Did you see this when it first came out? I don't remember.
I was in. You know what's crazy? I have to text Sam about this because I could just be making this up in my head. I feel like I saw Cabin in the Woods in Sarasota with Sam, like the first time viewing it. And I could be astronomically wrong on that because I feel like I bought a skateboard, we went to the movie theater, saw the movie, came out, and then hung around for a little bit. But that could just be a fever dream.
Well, I mean, it very well could be true. See, with Sam too, I feel like it'd be 50-50 if he would actually remember.
Oh, that actually happening. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. It would be a yes, definitely, or like I have no idea.
I have no idea. No.
Which is,
but it's a great choice.
So,
I mean, like I enjoy Cabin in the Woods because it has a lot of misdirection, but it also has like, this is literally the jelly bean bag that has every flavor in it. Like, if there's certain horror that you're into, particularly in the third act, you are going to get it in some which way, shape, or form. Because this movie literally has almost every horror trope and character and villain depicted ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I feel like I watched it. It was a little bit after it had come out, for sure. And I had avoided everything about it, so I didn't know anything going into it, which was definitely the best way to experience it. If for some reason you're here hearing about this and don't know anything about it, just, I don't know, skip ahead a little bit here. Because the reveals of this movie is just so fascinating. I think one of the best one is whatever Hemsworth it is, Chris Hemsworth. Yes. It's Chris, like the main Hemsworth, I guess. When he fucking rides that motorcycle
right into the fucking dome and just
invisible wall is so fucking hilarious because up until at that point,
gasped.
Right before then, I mean, everything is a normal
horror
we're
movie.
At this creepy cabin in the woods horror movie, and then it just fucking shoots off from there.
It absolutely does. I mean, like, it's just, there's so many. You could tell that Cabin in the Woods was made by horror fans because, like, it's a movie that literally describes and answers every idiotic trope you could possibly think of in a horror movie and literally flips it on its head. And I absolutely love that. Like, this is such a love note to, like, we always bring it up, is this movie for beginners? This one, I would heavily say no. Because there are so many references to other horror movies in this that I feel like, unfortunately, it's like not expert level, but like beyond novice. Like, you need to be pretty well-rounded in horror to understand the tropes, the humor, the characters, because all of them there's no official licensing of anything either. So it's like their versions of these iconic characters.
Right. And it's interesting too, because you look at some of the characters that make it to the end and everything like that aren't the traditional tropes that do sometimes and stuff, but then we get the whole fucking the crazy ending to that movie. It's really fun ride, and I know we spoiled some things but kept some things ambiguous. That's probably what we'll do with the rest of these movies here. So that's Sam's number. I'm saying number 5 because it's on a Letterboxd list that he gave as his number 5.
Mine,
as we go through,
mine are not in an order, to be totally honest with you. Mine are just like random.
Mine are kind of loosely in order, but I guess I'll work my way from the bottom up. Mine on this, I'll go next, is going to be Shaun of the Dead, a classic horror comedy. It's, again, this has been another one. It's
it's been a minute since I've seen Shaun of the Dead.
Such a part of it has been a minute, and it's such a part of just horror zeitgeist now.
As absolutely
like, this big cultural thing, even past the horror world.
Yeah, and because this was like right at the beginning of the zombie revival of a lot of these movies coming out, like the remake of Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead coming out. Like this was like right when zombies started hop back in the scene, but also a comedy, and a really funny comedy about zombies.
2004 as well.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's prime in that area. That's when you're also getting Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah.
Like you're getting, and the thing that's so good about this movie too is that the zombies, the makeup in it is great. The gore
is outstanding.
Is really good.
It's just
exactly,
and I like it because this is a great companion to say like Cabin in the Woods, where Shaun of the Dead has so many references to the classic Romero films on top of just other kind of like zombie tropes. But unlike Cabin in the Woods, I feel like you could watch this independently and still be like have a really fun ride, and then watch a bunch of other zombie movies, come back to this and realize the amount of Easter eggs that are in this movie.
Yeah, I certainly feel like this is permeated into normal people's viewings world. Like this is like when you look at people, this is a good way to look at this list too. Like when you look at people that only watch horror movies in October.
Yes.
Like there's just like this is definitely on that list for people, I think, as well. Like it's pretty digestible for fans of horror and comedy. Like it bridges that gap so well. Yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah. I mean, not much else to say upon it. Go watch Shaun of the Dead if you haven't seen that one. It's one that needs to be revisited, and I think Chuddle the Pod it'll come to us at some point. I think we've probably all just been avoiding it. Maybe it'll pop up when as we're talking about and thinking about all these Romero zombies that we're going through with Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and all that.
That would be a kind of a good wraparound after finishing the Romero series, just as a one-off doing Shaun, because now we're so well versed in everything that they're referencing. Very
well. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a perfect little topper on it here. So that's my number 5, we'll call it. What about you, Ross? What you gonna put on the butt?
On number 5, I'm gonna go with a I'm gonna go with it's also a comedy. It's also basically a kids movie. Ernest Scared Stupid.
No.
Is
nice.
I love Ernest, and the Chiodo brothers, who did Killer Clowns from Outer Space, did the special effects for this movie. If a little tidbit and behind the scenes Easter egg is that like they repurposed a bunch of the killer clowns and turned them into trolls for this movie.
Okay.
So so like there's a handful of them that you'll see Slim, you're going to see Shorty. They're repurposed, so they got different noses and they don't look as clownish, but there's just something about Ernest Scared Stupid. I think it's because I watched it as a kid, but then I never stopped watching it around Halloween. Like This is the one I bought on every format.
This was the heavy Halloween rotation, especially when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. And what's funny to me is that unlike other horror or kids geared horror movies like Mr. Boogedy or some of the animated ones, Ernest Scared Stupid is genuinely fucking funny to me. So like as the older I got in my teenage years, when like some of this stuff kind of hit by the wayside, Ernest is still slapping, dude. Like the Miak.
Ernest is slapping, man.
Slapping, dude. The entire Ottoman Empire spiel that he does about the high ground. I will quote that randomly for no fucking reason. I don't know. Like if you're a fan of, it is idiotic humor, but also like there's some genuinely scary themes that are going on in that movie too. Like children being like turned into dolls.
Yeah.
And, like
wooden dolls or something is what the troll wants to do.
Yes. Because then like the amount of souls he gets turns the tree and drops those pods that make more got like
yeah,
trolls
that's right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, this has been a while. This one was always on because I think it was on, like not public access, but basic antenna TV that you could pick up when you were young. So it was on. That's when I would be able to see it. And it's been a while since I've revisited as well. But just looking at a trailer for it now, I can see the resemblance of the trolls to the killer clowns. I see what you're talking about. I've never realized that before. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that one's, and it's nice. It's a nice primer one. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like this one I'm going to definitely be introducing to my kids in the next few years, because like, I feel like it's a good, I don't know, it's a good gateway to horror movie, because like it's spooky enough and scary enough in some of the themes, and like especially some of the characters, that I'm like, okay, this is good, but also docile enough that like it's a good younger aged movie. And I feel like hopefully this will be kind of a yearly thing for my kids.
That'll be fun. Hopefully they're not scared stupid. Hi. All right, Sam's next pick is number 4, Happy Death Day.
Ooh.
Now this is definitely a fun one. Again, we're Christopher Landon. This is a fun horror comedy world play around.
Yeah.
The spin on, what if we could take this movie and turn it into a horror type of thing? This is Groundhog's Day.
Exactly. Homicidal Groundhog's Day. And it's funny when someone talked about this, because I went to go see this in theaters, and someone had said like, well, yeah, it's just like a slasher version of Groundhog's Day. I was like, oh God, like I was expecting such a turd of a movie, and was so fucking pleasantly surprised after watching this movie how serious they took it. As in, yes. Like, because you could get and still be very funny, but just like the idea of like taking such a ludicrous idea and playing it straight the entire time was just like, chef's kiss. I will, in all transparency, I have not seen the sequel to it.
I have. I think I watched both.
Of course you did, you sequel freak. That's why I asked you.
Well, I watched it. I think I watched the first one when the second one had come out. So my wife and I watched them both together. I remember liking it. I couldn't tell you. It was different. They did something different with it, which was nice to see. And I like the first one. I need to revisit it. A lot of these were like, I watched them, really enjoyed them, and haven't returned back to them. But I remember really liking them. Sam has it listed as fucking 5 stars on Letterboxd. This is a big, that's a big deal from him.
So I'm assuming if it's 5 stars from him, we will be eventually covering this movie for the podcast.
You would think so. I feel like I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet. But he's weird like that. Funny little boy. He doesn't want us to trash it, I think, or something. Maybe. I don't know.
You see, this is his American Werewolf in London, or the other one. There's a few movies that we haven't covered yet.
This is his murder party.
This is, yes. Oh, no.
No way. No way. Not even. Cool. My next one. Let's go over. So, Happy Death Day. Awesome. Check it out. I'm going to go with one that we didn't recently cover it. We recently covered the sequel, but I'm not going for the sequel. I'm not a little sequel freak today. This is Hell House LLC, Limited Liability Company, the original. Now, this is like, okay, I wanted to put something on the list here as well that was, because I know it was like horror comedy. It seemed a little funny, a little lighthearted. Yes. I was like, this is a good
first
spooky
round.
One. Let's get you spooky. Let's spook you out.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, so Hell House LLC is
Evertown Hotel.
Yeah, dude. The first one, we have that episode. Actually, I don't know if you weren't there for that.
I wasn't there for it. Nope.
You were staying at the
Evertown Hotel.
Okay, perfect. It is probably one of my favorite found footage franchises, like intellectual properties, but also but this movie in particular is probably one of my favorite found footage films, because it's so good with its scares, and it's so good with misdirection in particular, that like this is some like if you want a found footage movie that has some like Chris Angel, David Blaine style mind freak like scenes in it, like this is the movie. You know what I mean? Like I feel like what better way, a found footage movie about building a haunted house in an abandoned hotel. It's like, oh,
super
so
fun,
good,
super spooky, super creepy, such a good mood, well done film, and like you said, the world living in it we enjoy over here. I know the sequels get weird and they can be hit or miss, whatever, but I think it's still a fun world to be in, and this first one does everything so very well with it. I don't need to expand upon it much more.
No, I mean, I do a double header with this, which is funny because this movie is not on my actual list. But my new kick with certain found footage ones, I'll do like a double feature. I do this one and Grave Encounters back to back. Like I feel like they're very different, but it's the same kind of crazy flavor of ice cream, and I think they pair well together. If you're into found footage, even.
There you go. Try that for a double feature. All right, what's your next one on the list?
Okay, so the next one is weird because I didn't really have a particular one. In captions, it literally just says any Friday the 13th film, in quotations. I always lean towards 4.
There you go. So there we go. We're saying 4.
4. I like, but honestly, I love Friday the 13th so much that I will put on pretty much any of like 1 through 8. Okay, so like Jason Goes to Hell, and then Jason X, and then the remakes and stuff like that. I don't really I will watch, but I don't futz with a lot. 4 is a huge contender, and I like me some zombie Jason. Like I like me some 7 is real good, but now, okay, it's really funny because this is going to be the first year that I always lean towards 4 or 7. 6 is going, because when we covered it, we talked about it, I've realized how much I actually enjoy that movie.
Okay, yeah.
So like,
sure.
I think for this time around, 6 is probably going to be mine.
6. Okay, so this year it's going to be 6. No, I think that's a great choice. And like you said, we recently covered all of those ones as well. That was almost a year ago. We finished that up, actually. Jesus Christ. It's been wild times running the Jason train. Yeah, Friday the 13th, I think, is a great choice. Any one of them is really good at setting the mood and getting you ready for Halloween and spookiness.
Which, okay, I'm gonna kind of jump the shark here. I do not have a single Halloween
do I?
film.
And I don't have Michael Myers. I think we all avoided it for some reason.
Yes, for whatever reason. Because is it too on the nose? I guess would be the funny. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I think that's how we feel.
Yeah, but again, I think like you said, any Friday the 13th, honestly, just kind of gets you in the mood. It's such a great cornerstone of like slashers or anything like that, and you're gonna find enjoyment out of any of them. But go for like 4 or maybe 6, possibly 7.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go with Bryan guy, wet boy, go
with 8.
Straight. Go to 8, bro.
Yeah, why not? Like, yeah, it has a different flavor for everyone. Sam would say go to 5. I guess we got to represent what he would want.
He is a Roy boy for life.
Yeah, that fits with his list and his next pick as well, which is Deadstream. What he is recommending to get you in the mood. Which that one, perfect, great film.
It's a great movie. It's such a fun movie. It, again, found footage, investigating a haunted house. It is so genuinely funny. Like it's one of the first movies in a really long time that made me laugh as much as it scared me.
Yeah, it blended that very well, the scare factor with the laugh factor. Like one moment that you could be very tense, peeking around, like just the usage of the cameras in that, to as he's walking down hallways, pulling it up. You can see a ghost in the camera, putting it down. There's nothing there, and just kind of like moving around through that is terrifying. And then there's just fucking brilliant moments of comedy almost right after that. And then the whole dynamic between him and various different ghosts, but our main ghost is a wonderful, fun story.
God, it's so fucking fun. And it's like, and they're not the same movie by any standpoint, but like, I think I referenced it in our episode, or was that a boiled down? Did we do it? We didn't do a full episode on. We did a boiled down on it.
We definitely boiled it down, and then I don't think we ever returned to it.
Yeah, if we didn't, we may need to rectify that. But like, it's such Evil Dead 2 vibes. Like, it just literally laughing and shrieking at the same time.
Exactly. I think it was just a boiled down. Either way, if you want to hear that boiled down that we did, that is available on the Patreon exclusively.
Nice plug.
Plugging it. All right, moving on. My next pick, keep it in the fun world, have a great time, get into the ooey gooey goodness of it all. We're going to go with Pussy Cake. Classic gooey one.
Classic goo fest.
Ooh, such a fun ride.
Just goo out your friends. Like, this is a goo evening. Like, you God, there's so much amazing layers to Pussy Cake. This Pussy Cake has multiple layers to it.
Certainly does. And God, I love every layer of it. It is our Argentine film, so you got to deal with the subtitles there. But if you watch it once, get the story. I've definitely put this on in the background, and have just been able to hang out and have Pussy Cake going, because it is it's
such a fun ride.
Fun, crazy ride. It's the cinematography is really cool. I think it works well with all the effects going on in it, all the practical effects. There's a lot of really neat stuff happening with like really
fun ideas.
Yeah.
When it comes to like sci-fi and just the horror to it, and like you said, the practical effects are just so good. And it's also really nice too when like because we did an interview with the director and one of the actresses from Pussy Cake.
Sure did.
And it's also nice to, like, when you meet, like, they're just genuinely nice people, and like knowing that just cemented how much I like Pussy Cake. You know what I mean? Like, it was a fun movie, and then realize how everybody had such a fun time doing it, and it was such like a team collaborative effect. It's like, God,
yeah,
we cannot champion Pussy Cake more.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's a fun time, and that, like, I feel like I have a good mix on this list here, you know, starting with Shaun of the Dead and then moving into scary, then moving back to fun, and then we're going to go a little bit maybe scary again and stuff. I like to mix it up. And I think Sam does too. I'd say his is we all have a different, this mix of everything here, rather than just being strictly scary, which is fun. I mean, that's pretty much what we are over here. We like scary stuff, but you know, we like to do ridiculous crap too.
I do really like the fact that a lot of our picks are leaning more towards like horror comedies, and it's just, I mean, obviously we do like to scare the crap out of ourselves pretty much all year round. So,
well, what's your next?
This is like,
right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
my next one is it's a goo goo gore fest. Speaking of, because if leading to Pussy Cake, Dead Alive. Peter Jackson's movie of splatter and zombies, and just the goriest, most, like, we're gonna cover it eventually, but like, it is okay. If this gives you any pretense of what my home life was like, this is my mother and I's favorite movie to watch together. Like, we quote this movie all the time.
That's wild.
You've got the bite, Zingaya. It's just, it's one of those movies that is so fucking rude and funny and just so, oh God, the humor in it is ridiculous. The practical effects are insane. Like, some of the stuff that they do in this, like, we have babies ripping out of heads, literally. We have like deboning. We have an entire mansion's worth of people getting mowed down with an actual lawnmower.
Oh yeah,
is just
wild.
Just insane. And it's just so fun because this is the guy that did Lord of the Rings. Like that to me is just.
I think, when I had first seen it, it was probably around when Lord of the Rings or something was coming out. I think it was probably when I was first exposed to it. And I think I haven't really revisited it in a long time either. It's one I need to come back to. But yeah, it is a wild splatterfest that is ooey and gooey.
I think it was honestly when, I don't know which Lord of the Rings it was that came out, but because I had seen Dead Alive a bunch, but I had not seen Bad Taste or Meet the Feebles by Peter Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down one weekend and watched Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive, and it changed me irreparably forever.
I can tell.
Oh my God. I cannot stress to the listeners enough, do yourself a favor and watch early Peter Jackson movies. Like, Meet the Feebles is basically like the Muppets on acid. Like, it is and it's got full puppetry. It is insane. And then Bad Taste is literally about aliens that turn us into fast food. Like, you can't go wrong there. It's just, but yeah, just for my pick today, like, Dead Alive. It's such I think, again, it's so gory and splattery and gooey. Like, this is goo to the nth degree. Like, I feel like the Goo book was birthed out of the crevasse that is Dead Alive. You know what I mean?
That
where it's like
definitely contributes to the birthing of the Goo book.
Yeah, like absolutely.
And the next on the list comes from Sam. His is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's been a long time since I've seen this one too, but I remember I was first exposed to this one and I was going in one of my film classes at one point. We watched it around Halloween.
Yeah.
And that was the first time. And I was like, I had heard about it and I did not know a goddamn thing about it. I didn't realize it was I didn't realize it was the horror comedy that it was. And it's fucking hilarious.
I went into it blind too. And it's probably one of the funnest rides I've ever had, not knowing about a movie and being like so pleasantly surprised, particularly for horror movie veterans. Like, if you're into horror movies, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is such a funny fucking movie because you have seen the opposite end of the perspective 100 times. So when they flip the script and it's from Tucker and Dale's perspective, it is just like, it's honestly mind-blowing how good it is. And just like, I'm so shocked no one came up with it before. I mean, I guess there might have been like smaller iterations of this, but this is the one that just hit so well. And it's just such a
good time. Solid, fun ride. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Next on the list, coming from me, is something that's a classic and you should know it so well. The Blair Witch Project. We've covered that one as well. I forget when we did that one. I'm obviously a huge fan of it. I think Sam gave it like a 1. He is not a huge fan of it. He respects it for what it did for the culture, but this one is classic for me. I remember the first time I watched this in my parents' living room with a group of friends hanging out late at night. It scared the shit out of me, and I was enamored and in love with it and kind of just like stuck with it ever since. And this one, still, I could put this one, and this one would get me in that like spooky Halloween mood. I could really feel that too. But I love it, man. It's classic for me. I get it. It's not for everyone though.
Absolutely. But I do agree with you where it's like, but it's just got such a good atmosphere to it. Like, and it's so hard to replicate. Like, I love Blair Witch because I'm a kid from Jersey. If you've never seen The Last Broadcast, it is a movie that came out before Blair Witch that had kind of a very similar tone and kind of thing. But the ending of that one to me was like, oh, okay. And then you see Blair Witch, which is so much more based in the idea that it actually happened, that even with the advertising, things like that, it just hit so different. And I think like, it's one of those like, the first cut is the deepest. The first time watching it, especially in the ecosystem of not knowing if it's real or not, I think was like crazy, and obviously cannot be replicated now. Like if you've never seen Blair Witch Project, I can completely understand watching this movie and being like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like, back in my day, but it's just like when the film came out and the hype around it, and then literally not knowing whether these people really disappeared or not when going to the theater, it just hits so differently. You know what I mean? And even then to now 100 times viewing it has just resonated in such a cool, I don't know, man. Great
Classic.
pick.
Love it. Thank you. What's your next pick?
All right. So I said that I had 2 anthology horror movies left are in my list. So these are going to be, first one is going to be Trick or Treat. We've got not Evil Sam. He follows the rules, and you have to follow the rules of Halloween. Hands down, one of my favorite Halloween films of all time. And it is also hands down one of my favorite anthology horror movies of all time.
Sure.
I feel like the pacing of this is fantastic. The stories blend and bleed into each other seamlessly.
Yeah, really fun.
And I watch so many anthology horror movies. And when I first picked this up, and I remember specifically going to Walmart to pick this up the second the movie dropped, because it was supposed to be in theaters, because I had been following upcominghorrormovies.com. I used to log onto it every morning and check out like new releases and trailers, because it was the best way to find like the new accumulated trailers, things like that. And then Lionsgate was going to release the movie, except they decided to go with a Saw sequel instead. And they didn't want 2 Lionsgate films competing with each other, so this went direct to video.
Yes.
And then the second this movie got released, I bought it, went home, and I have not stopped watching this movie since. I have bought it in pretty much every single format. Immediate horror icon, Sam. Like, holy crap. I mean, like, and also just like, what a amazing take on so many, like, you got zombies, we've got serial killers, we've got werewolves, we've got, I mean, just you name it, it's in there. You know what I mean? And I think what's really, and it's all taken very seriously, which I think is also like such a fun thing. Also kid death, and not like there's some heavy duty crazy. Like when I remember watching that for the first time, I was like, they're not going there. Oh my God, they went there. Oh my God, they went 2 more bus stops there.
Hell yeah.
Like,
they certainly did. Yeah.
And that's why I liked it. I appreciated it because it was like nothing I had seen in an anthology horror movie before. And yeah, I don't know. It's got to be every Halloween. Like this is like, this is the stick of dynamite for me.
No, it's a classic. I really, really enjoy it. It took me a long time to see it. The first time I saw it, was only a year or 2 ago. But they played it up here in a theater, so that's when I went and saw it for the first time. So that was awesome.
Oh, what a great God! I would love to see this in theaters. Holy shit!
Yeah, it was super, super fun. So that was awesome. And so move on to the final round here. Sam and I have our final pick is the same one here, so we're both going to say it. It's the Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel that was kind of my what I considered a classic pick. I put that in lieu of Halloween or something like that. But that's one I can put on around the season, and it really makes me feel it and get ready for it and want to put on more spooky, feel the crisp fall air, all that kind of fun shit.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's something about Nightmare on Elm Street, especially OG, especially the first one, that just, it's creepy. It's like, it gets under your skin. Like, I enjoy Friday the 13th in a lot of respects because it's like, it's a traditional slasher and it's just backwoods and the hockey mask and all the other kind of stuff. And then like having a supernatural killer that murders you in your sleep, it hits on such a different level.
Yeah.
And then like the way that they, oh God, some of the the visuals on this too. you'll hear us go gaga on it on the episode that we actually cover the movie, but like it's just they did so many cool practical effects for this, and just I mean, dude, Freddy. Although again,
classic. I
am a Jason fan all the time. It's just I can't get over the kid diddling. Sorry, listeners. It's the Freddy was a kid diddler. I can't do it. It's just I can't have him.
Can't have.
But besides that, it is just that movie. Again, maybe that adds to the fact of how creepy and how horrible of a character he is. You know what I mean? But like,
no, certainly, bad boy. All right, round it up. What do we got?
Oh, we've got one of my favorite movies of all time. We have also covered this. Creepshow.
There it is. Yes, we have covered that one too.
Creepshow is one of my favorite movies of all time, and also technically it's a Halloween movie. The opening scene of the house has a jack-o'-lantern in the window.
Hey, there you go. Halloween gets you in the mood. I get it. I mean, I can feel it. It didn't hit hard for me or Sam, but I know it's a classic for a lot of people, and I respected a lot to it, and I think fondly upon it now. Yeah, you love it.
Well, it's a fun one. I mean, at least now, because I've seen it so many times, like for me, like I'll put on Creepshow and like get the house decorated, or like,
oh sure,
you know what I mean? Like it's kind of more background noise for me at this point, but in the best way possible, because especially with like the soundtrack, like when the crazy shit's happening, because it like illuminates your television because of the psychedelic colors. You're like, okay, hold on, let me watch this death real quick. All right, let me go back to decorating and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. You got Stephen King, you got Romero, you've got Savini. I mean, like you've got just classic. It's just, to me, like quintessential, just classic horror movie.
Well, that's awesome. That's our list of movies to get you in the mood for Halloween. What are you guys' suggestions? Jump on into the Discord. Hit us up on our socials. Let us know.
Yeah,
we want to hear which you guys like to watch as well. We'll add it to our list and everything like that, and get it going. So we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about the Brooklyn Horror Festival to wrap us up for tonight. And we're back. Here we are on the other side of that little bump and now into this dump. So as we said before that, we're jumping in and we're talking about the Brooklyn Horror Festival. This is going on right now, as it is actually going on right now as I speak. I'm not at any of the films that are happening at this moment, but it started last night. I attended the opening night there. This is, as I said, the 9th year that they've been doing this.
That's
first
awesome.
year that I've attended.
That's great. What movie did you go to for the opening night?
Dead Mail.
Ooh.
So it's a blood-stained note arrives at a county post office, leading its experienced dead letter mailroom clerk and his associates down a perilous path to discover its origins. Now, this was... It was the opening night film, so the directors were there and they had a little Q&A afterwards. So it was fun. I liked the overall premise. I liked the world that we were living in. It's kind of set up to be in this like early 80s world. It centers mainly around
pre-internet.
There's a lot of twists and turns that kind of happen here with in characters that we follow. But the first premise that I said about the dead mail is there's essentially an area of the post office that, like, I don't know, figures out what to do with like these letters where it doesn't have an address, a return address, or it's like partial addresses and stuff. And this is a little bit like playing on and expanding into that world with this kind of like detective savant dude who is like super good at figuring it out. But he gets this kind of bloody letter in one day, and then that takes us into the world of like essentially who sent the letter, and we get to learn a little bit of backstory and stuff there. But yeah, it's set in this real cool like synthy 80s vibe of like you know, like developing keyboards and synthesizers and like all that kind of stuff. And it dabbles, it's light on the horror, like in the sense of like bloody, like Oh no.
So leans more into mystery than
mystery / let's say like Silence of the Lambs-y vibes, like the serial killer vibes, the stuff like that going on. Creepy people.
Nice. Creepy people vibes.
Exactly. So I'm not positive. I'd have to look up the filmmakers themselves if this is like their first feature or where they are in their film careers with it.
That sounds like a good start to the film fest for you.
It was fun. It was definitely an enjoyable time, and I'm glad that I went out and saw it. It wasn't, I mean, the main problems were maybe some pacing issues with it, but realistically, it was driven by some pretty strong performances. Really led the way through. Like everyone who was in it, I was interested in who I was watching. I liked the feel of the movie, and I liked the world that I was living in there. But
cool.
I think, like I said, I don't know. Again, this is a festival movie. I don't think it has like any release date ideas or anything like that at this point. It wants to be picked up, I assume. But hopefully we can get a screener. Hopefully maybe you can see it as well. That'd be fun.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
All the stuff that I'm able to check out as well, so that we can give you guys, because what we want to do on the opposite side of this, after I've watched a lot more of these movies, and hopefully Ross has watched some, Sam would be nice to as well. We'll talk about that and do a wrap up of the fest as a little bonus episode. So that was starting us off was Dead Male. So that was Thursday night. Now tonight they got a bunch more going on. Obviously this is running like from the 17th to the 24th with like stuff pretty much going on every night / day. There was one I really wanted to check out that came out today, was Bird Eater. I know that's from Australia, but I wasn't able to get into the theater. And I don't know much about it. It's Louis invites his fiancée Irene to join him at his bachelor party, but as alarming details of the relationship emerge, the night free falls into full-on madness. So whatever the hell that means, I think that's about as much as I've ever known about this. So that had been on my watch list before I'd even like known it was going to be playing here, but wasn't able to make it to anything happening today. But tomorrow and coming up on my list, I got something called Who's Watching. This is the main reason I was interested in this is apparently it's from the frontman of the band Cursive. Tim Kasher delivers an impressively nihilistic directorial debut with this seedy look at a mentally disturbed social misfit who takes his infatuation with a female coworker to disturbing heights.
Oh my God.
So, we'll see how that goes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why I was fired from the Hot Topic.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, okay, frontman of Cursive. Interesting.
Honestly, that sounds like a wild ride. You know, sometimes like, I don't know, when the idea of rock stars doing movie type stuff, sometimes you get hairy, but that premise seems like I could be on board with that. Let's see. I would like to see how that goes.
I'll let you know. I go to that one tomorrow, and then right after that, I'm going to see House of Ashes, which I know we have something for you to see. That you'll be able to watch this one with me.
Cool.
While under house arrest, a grieving widow questions whether she's losing her mind or she's the victim of something supernatural after an old friend moves in to help curb her loneliness. So, yeah. Okay. Again, kind of like most movies, I guess I didn't look into too much about these. I kind of looked into the premise, the log lines for each thing, and because you know, you got 6 movies or whatever per day or something like that. There's a little bit less on some other ones. I had to pick and choose which ones I was going to be able to go through. So I was reading a lot of log lines and comparing them, and I'm like, all right, this one sounded interesting here. Then I'm like, all right,
it's got to be kind of like an interesting deer dance, because like obviously you want to, because it's a film festival, you want to be informed on what you're about to watch, but you don't want to be too informed that it spoils anything for you.
Yeah,
so it's got to be like, give me a line. Okay, all right, that's it. That's all I need. That's all I need.
That's all I want for it here. So I got those ones coming up, and I know we got the screener for the other one. Then on Sunday, I'm going to one of the shorts. They have a few different shorts blocks, and like there's a home invasion one they're doing. I didn't get into any of those ones, but I'm going to the Laugh Now Die Later, which is the comedy shorts. And then there's a Home Invasion one they're doing. I didn't get into any of those ones, but I'm going to the Laugh Now Die Later, which is the comedy shorts. And then there's a Home Invasion one they're doing. I didn't get into any of those ones, but I'm going to the Laugh Now Die Later, which is the comedy shorts. So I think
Awesome.
there's like 6 or 7 maybe different ones that are going to go on there. Jesus, what is it called? Let's see. We got Cheat Meal, The Last Thing She Saw, which is directed by, I believe, Anthony Cousins, which I think is who did Frogman.
Oh, cool.
Mean Ends, Erection, and Destruction. So
Okay.
those were just a few of them.
Right.
I think there's a few more.
That sounds promising.
So that's going to be all the short films. That should be an interesting, fun little thing there. And then later that night is one of the big events of the evening. So this is an old movie, Habit. It's a Larry Fessenden. He did this one, and it's like from like 1990 something, whatever. But he is being honored with some sort of achievement award here, basically. And
cool.
So he's going to be there. He gets an award, and there's going to be a Q&A and all that kind of fun stuff.
What are you throwing at the screen for each one of these?
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, probably
I don't
nothing.
know because
Honestly, you
yeah,
might get thrown out.
well, I just don't know because I haven't seen most of these movies, so I don't know what to throw at the screen is the problem.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess all right, I'll watch the screeners. I'll get one after you see it, and then we'll report back to
Yeah.
your guys' ear holes.
Yeah, Habit's from 1995. It's like a vampire film that Larry Fessenden made.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of
Why
it.
do I
So
feel like I've seen? I feel like I've heard of that. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe you just know because maybe you've looked up some of other shit. Now then,
True.
Monday, I'm just going to one, but it's one that I'm really super excited for. Dead Talents Society. This
Ooh.
I forget where it comes from. I know it's an international one, but to avoid getting kicked out of the underworld, a ghost joins a small haunting talent agency and sets out to become the scariest urban legend of them all.
Oh, sold.
Yeah, this
Absolutely
sounds super
sold.
fun. Like it sounds like
Cool.
such a
Done.
fun time, and I was like, I'm there for it. I'm gonna see ya. I'm gonna try to reach out to these people
Okay.
and get the Chuddle Med on it so we can all see this.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Would you be excited or devastated if the director of Pizza is the one that makes this one?
Devastated. It's not. I believe it's. This is from Japan, maybe.
Oh, cool.
I could be speaking completely out of my ass. I'm pretty sure it's not from India,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. So that's the next night, and then after that, I am going to see another movie called Gazer,
Ooh.
an ingenious and challenging marriage of noir and horror. The singular feature debut finds a young mother with a time-distorting mental condition forced to pull off a heist to provide for her daughter.
All right, so I have a slight prediction, and I guess I'll figure it out if we're right or not. Why do I feel with that kind of description she's gonna wake up and then she did the heist, but it was 30 years ago, and now her kid's completely grown up, and she's like, "I missed your entire life doing this heist."
Oh, that's a good one. I was gonna say someone doesn't avoid the time loop. Something.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There you go. So that one is Tuesday. So then Wednesday, only 2 more nights left.
Oh wow.
I'm also really excited for this one is Psychonaut, which I know I got one for us to watch. You're able to see that
Oh
one too.
yes, I've heard about this one.
With the help of a futuristic killing machine, Maxine must traverse into the dark recesses of her dying girlfriend's mind in order to locate the essential memory that could save her life. This is starring Fiona Dourif, so I knew that and was super excited and wanted to check that
That's
one out.
awesome.
Yeah, so we grabbed that one. We will
You,
let you know.
you sci-fi freak. You sci-fi
I was
freak.
like, oh, this sci-fi shit sounds awesome. And cleaning it up, the closing film of the fest and one I had been looking forward to as well is The Soul Eater. And this is jump-started by a perplexing murder scene of absolute carnage in a group of missing children. 2 investigators from different departments are sent down the same dark and unforgiving trail. I believe this one is international as well.
Cool.
But it had been on my list because I think I'd seen it pop up on some other festival stuff as well. So this is something I'm super excited for. And
Yeah. As
I'll let
many
you guys
screeners
know.
as we can get, I will absolutely watch
Yeah.
all of these.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to get a couple more, and it should be fun to wrap up the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival and let you guys know what we about all of these things here.
Also, shout out to the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival for giving us screeners.
Huge shout out.
Wow.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I went out on a whim and a limb and a hope and a prayer to apply for a press pass, which I was so fortunate enough to get, which was what's allowing me this opportunity to go to all these things. So thank you guys so much for that. What's cool too is though, because for the first time I was like, awesome, our emails on some sort of list, because we're getting hit up from a lot of like promoters. I guess that all the people that work with the Film Fest have been hitting us up individually, being like, hey, Brooklyn Horror Film Fest, you're on that list. Here's an offer for a screener for this. If you can't make it to this, here's this. So they've been cool and working with a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited for this and all the cool stuff it's going to get for us to be able to talk about and bring to you guys, and hopefully put a lot of cool independent, less heard of movies on some sort of radar to get out there. Especially if they're good.
No, it is really cool. I love film festivals in the way of like, you really don't, I mean, obviously you're going to get the scripts, but you really don't know what you're getting yourself into until you get into the theater. And like, I'm glad that you just get an entire, how many days is it now? That's like a week and a half?
Just over a week, pretty much. It started last Thursday, ends on the next Thursday. So like 8 days.
I'm so stoked for you.
Yeah, fun times. Fun times. This would be great if we all I don't know what Florida Film Horror Festivals, if there's something on there. Well, I'm trying to look in and get into more things, because I know a lot of film festivals do offer like digital stuff and just like we can get in that way and stuff. I think it'd be a fun, interesting avenue, and let us know. That's the thing. Let us know if you want us to keep doing something like this, diving into these kind of movies and playing around in this world.
If you know of a film festival that we'd be interested in, also let us know.
Yeah, please do. We're open to everything, guys. You are an awesome club member in Coven as well. A lot of other cool, fun events going on with this thing. I know they have a bunch of cool hangout, meet out, party nights and stuff. Ted Yogan is doing a trivia night. Your man from Brooklyn 4-5. Yeah, he hosts like horror trivia. I think kind of often, but I think he's doing some sort of horror trivia party night. Yeah, there's a bunch going on. One of the judges is what's her name, from the Addams Family that made like Hellbender and like that group of people.
Oh yes, yeah.
That group of filmmakers. I know she's one of the judges. So yeah, there's a lot of cool people in the industry and stuff that I've been seeing pop up all around, which I'm hoping to be able to, interact with and see a lot of cool stuff coming up. So that's the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival. Ross, thank you for joining for me tonight. I wanted to end the night on a short little request and a short story for you. So, and for you all, dear listeners here. So this is brought to you by our good old friend ChatGPT. You might know the name of the title of the book once the story gets going. It was a room hidden in the bowels of Count Castle Dracula, buried deep beneath the ancient stone walls, forgotten by time and untouched by human hands for centuries. This was not a chamber of grandeur or terror like the ones the villagers whispered about. Those gothic rooms of velvet curtains and flickering candlelight. No, this was a place of shadows, a secret only known to Dracula himself. As midnight struck, the air in the room thickened. An eerie red glow pulsated from the cracks in the stone floor, illuminating a solitary, ornate coffin in the center. The silence was broken by the slow creak of the coffin lid as it slid open, revealing Dracula. He emerged, his pale skin shimmering like moonlight, his crimson eyes reflecting the hunger that never quite faded, even after centuries of existence. Tonight, however, he wasn't hungry for blood.
Oh dear Lord, I know where this is going.
No,
all right.
This was a different kind of hunger. one that even the undead struggled to comprehend. Dracula smirked as he glanced at the chamber's lone mirror, an ancient relic that defied the vampire lore that claimed he had no reflection. In this mirror, he could see himself, not as the world saw him, but as he truly was, a creature of unrelenting power, sensuality, and desire. He approached the mirror, letting his hands trace the outline of his own sharp features. His fangs glistened in the dim light as his gaze lowered, drawn to himself like a moth to flame. The room was an altar to his self-worship, a space where Dracula could indulge in pleasures that transcended human understanding. He knelt before the mirror, his body curving like... I'm trying so hard. His body curving like a predator poised to strike. Only this time, the prey was within. There was no shame in this act. Dracula, the timeless being who had tasted every bloodline, seduced countless mortals and ruled over darkness itself, now indulged in his ultimate power, the ability to take his own pleasure, to feed on the ecstasy that only he could provide.
Oh my God.
The silence of the room was broken again, this time by the soft rustle of fabric and the faint, almost inaudible sounds of satisfaction. Dracula's crimson eyes fluttered closed as he reveled in the moment, his mind wandering to a time when he was still mortal, with such desires seemed distant and out of reach. In this room, he was master of all, even himself. When it was over, the room returned to its usual quiet, the glow from the floor fading into nothingness. Dracula rose, his movements graceful and unhurried, and smirked at his reflection one last time before slipping back into his coffin, closing the lid with a slow, deliberate finality. For now, the hunger was satisfied, and the world above would continue to fear the legendary Count Dracula. But down here, in the room no one dared to speak of, he was simply a man. Well, almost. The end. And that is the room where Dracula sucks his own dick.
To give a slight context here, in our Discord, I posted a fake book cover. And Bryan and ChatGPT,
ChatGPT delivered. That was the best one they've ever done.
oh, that's the best. I am literally I'm tearing up. I never thought I could actually hear an excerpt from the room where Dracula sucks his own dick, but
that's it.
Dreams come true. This is the power of Halloween, bro.
There you have it. That's what we wanted to end the night on for you all. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for joining me, Ross. And until next time,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Avoid the time loop. Wait.
What?
Don't forget, follow us, like us, review us, spread us around.
I'm sorry, I was so entranced by the room where Dracula sucks.
That was my fault too.
We missed the whole end. I mean,
I was just like, let's just get out of here. I was finished.
Just
and
like
gone.
Dracula. Just like Dracula. Finish yourself off.
And
where can they find us?
At Chuddle the Pod, at all the places. At Chuddle the Bryan with a Y. At Chuddle the Sam on Letterboxd. At Ross Purvis on Instagram to get all his goodies and see his beautiful tattoo work and buy his stuff. And go buy his stuff. But, get at us, review us, tell your friends. And until next time, avoid the time loop.